The U.S. faces a truck driver shortage. How will that affect your holiday plans?
This week across the U.S., states face Mother Nature's fury.
Vaccine rollout for our youngest age group. How can you prepare?
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Gabby Cardin.
And I'm Jack Springer.
It was a bit rainy this morning, and I was wondering if we're going to keep seeing rain later today.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like later in the day, but our weather anchor Sydney DeShawn does. What do you have for us, Sydney?
Well, Gabby and Jack, our weather has been looking a bit hectic these past couple of days. We are even dealing with a wind advisory from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m., so be on the lookout for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions in Denton. Right now, we are sitting at a nice 70 degrees, and it does feel about the same with high wind speeds of 14 miles per hour. Now looking into tonight's conditions, it will cool down a little bit. The temperature will drop to 66, and it will feel a little chillier at 63 with similar wind speeds at 14 miles per hour. Now let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's conditions. The temperature will be around the same at 66. It will feel a little bit cooler at 64, but we will be seeing those very high wind speeds at 27 miles per hour. That is it for our first look. Make sure to stay with us for our full weather forecast later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. For some handicapped students here at UNT, parking in a handicapped spot is a must. But according to the UNT transportation bylaws, they still have to purchase a parking pass in order to use them. One UNT student disagrees with the rule.
With everything finally starting to return to in-person, parking on campus has quickly become a big issue. For one handicapped student, the parking situation has brought up other issues regarding handicapped parking here at UNT.
I have been walking on forearm crutches since my 7th grade year, so since I was 12. My right leg is pretty normal, functions normally, and my left leg is extremely weak, and that's the main reason why I have the crutches and a leg brace that holds my ankle up, so I am able to walk a little better, but I can't walk long distances or like my endurance is really low.
Being handicapped, she should always be able to park right next to her class, but unfortunately that's not always the case.
I have a class at Hickory that's all the way over on Fry Street, and there's not really any handicapped parking near there. That's like an acceptable distance to walk.
Brooke has an ADA handicap plate which allows her to park in any handicapped spot, but according to UNT bylaws, only DV plates are exempt from parking fees.
To me, it just seems unfair to require us to pay in handicapped spots that are like legally, we are able to park in them, like the law, like we can park, like we're handicapped people, so we can park in handicapped spot. And it just seems odd that they're telling us we can't unless we have a UNT parking pass. It's like having the placard or the plates still isn't enough. We still have to pay money and not even be guaranteed a spot.
However, communications specialist for UNT Transportation George Steeran has a different opinion.
The general rule is that if you park on UNT's campus, you have to have a parking pass. So in my opinion, it wouldn't be fair for student A to pay and student B not to pay.
Despite this fact, many handicapped students are unhappy with the circumstances and hope to see some changes soon.
George Steeran encourages students to reach out to the transportation department for any concerns with parking. Amidst a nationwide truck driver shortage, one Las Vegas instructor believes teenagers may be the solution. Abel Garcia has more.
From the clothes we wear to the groceries we buy, these essential items are transported through these large commercial vehicles. But as a result of the pandemic, finding drivers has become a problem.
We have nothing in Vegas. Food, water, gas, all of it is driven in.
But the age of the truck drivers may be getting younger. An instructor at A1 Truck Driver Training, Harona Godwin, says teenage drivers may be the solution to delayed shipping and low inventory of supplies.
Motar, cement, everything to make the beautiful homes, hotels, all that we have here, it's all driven in. So we would have nothing available without truckers.
Godwin has been going to many high school career fairs. She says we need to encourage younger generations to consider this career path. Not only does it pay well, but during the supply chain crisis, when container ships are stuck at ports waiting to be unloaded, she says drivers are desperately needed.
Before Corona, we get about 1 student a day. So that's 5 a week, trained over our brief course and stuff between 3 to 5 days. So they can hit the road and all that, get their new job. But now after the pandemic, it's about 1 every other day, just three new truckers each week.
President of the Nevada Trucking Association, Paul Eno, says part of the infrastructure bill the Senate approved would allow 18 to 20-year-olds to drive big rigs across state lines. Most states like Nevada allow people under 21 to get commercial driver's license, but federal rules currently restrict drivers to only work within state borders. Eno says the young age of the driver shouldn't be a factor, as there will be adequate training.
You need to have at least 400 hours of apprenticeship with an experienced driver. You have to have 240 hours driving. And on top of that, you need to have a truck equipped with safety systems.
Eno says he knows safety is a major concern, but these drivers will be trained properly before stepping foot inside of these trucks.
Being able to go in and attract that new pool and have that additional pipeline of drivers being able to come into our system would be extremely beneficial right now to the trucking industry, the supply chain, and the economy as a whole.
The Texas Department of Transportation is asking Texans to weigh in on the Interstate 20 corridor study. This survey aims to find out common issues on the highway, how it's being used, and areas that need to be addressed. The area that this survey is looking at stretches 630 miles from Reeves County to the Texas-Louisiana border. Carolyn Mays, an official at Texas DOT, stated that this survey is an opportunity for the public to give us their input about what should be addressed in the study recommendations. Some key considerations range from infrastructure issues to truck parking locations. To take part in the study survey, you can visit the Texas DOT website. And a judge temporarily blocked enforcement of Magnolia ISD's gender-based hair policy. The American Civil Liberties Union of Texas sued the district after complaints from male students ranging ages 7 to 17 who have been disciplined for wearing their hair too long. According to the lawsuit, the Magnolia ISD gender-based policy imposed immense and irreparable harm on the students. Magnolia ISD issued a statement saying that they're looking forward to addressing the matter in court.
After the break, we'll have more information about COVID vaccines for kids and an update on extreme weather all across the U.S.
We also have an update on the UNT fountains, and in Kansas, city's spirit of Halloween is showing a very unique way. Stay with us.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Well, it's a treat and no tricks for the parents of babies in the neonatal intensive care unit at St. Luke's Hospital in Kansas City. 5 photographers each had children who spent time in the NICU, and they're now making Halloween happier in the unit this week. Kelly Eckerman shows us how.
Take that one out. Grab the other one too.
Meet Lena Ray Bennett. She was just 2 pounds at birth. She's been in the NICU at St. Luke's Hospital since July.
It's hard seeing all the tubes and the alarms and everything, so you just got to take the one day at a time and find those little moments. Her costume, I love it.
Today is one of those moments. The hospital's teaming up with the March of Dimes, providing special Halloween costumes and volunteer photographers to create a memory for these families. Lena Ray is a mermaid.
I was excited because even though, she's still here and hooked up to monitors, she still gets to be cute and adorable.
Next door, we find a precious little jack-o'-lantern.
What's up?
And then a tiny Chiefs player. For photographer Helen Ransom, it's a labor of love. She once spent a lot of time in the NICU with her own children, triplets. She loves bringing a little normalcy to these families.
If your baby is in the NICU, you're delaying how long it can be before you can take them to a photographer. And so I can come in here and I can gift them that experience in a really hard, unnormal time.
And capturing these adorable creatures does bring joy.
I like to reassure parents, hey, I've done this, and you're gonna come out the other side and your baby is too.
The photographers plan to return and spread joy again at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
UNT's fountains have been shut off since the beginning of the summer, and you won't be seeing them in action till the end of November. UNT's facility's ongoing equipment project is the reason the fountains have been dormant for most of the year. The project manager, Carl Parsons, explains that the fountains have been offline a lot in the past few years because of the issue that this project intends to resolve. The project aims to relocate equipment that is currently stored in underground vaults. Moving the equipment to an above-ground location will make it more accessible to deal with flooding on campus. Parsons hopes that the iconic fountains will continue to instill school spirit. You can stay updated on this project and others happening around campus by following UNT facilities on social media. We had a little bit of rain last night, but California had a storm over the weekend. While locals thought this would help their state during the drought, it seems to have had a little impact. CNN's Spencer Christian has more.
The weekend storm may have created overnight lakes on roadways across the Bay Area, but as far as our critical reservoirs are concerned, local water managers say there's still a long way to go.
We need a series of these. 1 or 2 is not going to be enough.
Gary Crimmin of the Santa Clara Valley Water District says the storm resulted in an improvement of about 1/2% in their system, which includes Lexington Reservoir near Los Gatos.
So we went from 88% empty to 87.5% empty. So it hasn't moved the needle appreciatively.
He says early season stormwater often has difficulty penetrating the soil until there's more saturation from a series of storms. Sky 7 captured these images of a rushing spillover at the Alpine Lake Reservoir in Marin County, where the sight of water beginning to bolster depleted reservoirs was a more than welcome sight. Meanwhile, managers with the San Francisco Public Utility District say their total system, which includes the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir, has seen an increase of almost 3%, bumping levels to almost 70% capacity. But with the effects of climate change, observers like Save the Bay's David Lewis believe drench and dry cycles may be the new normal for California.
There's going to be more variability in our weather, and that's going to mean many years of drought.
Experts say it will be critical to not only capture more water in the future, but to use it more efficiently with conservation and recycling. Back at Valley Water, Gary Crimmin is hoping this storm season delivers a major impact in the Sierra.
The best type is one that stays in the Sierras and turns into snow. So we get snowpack up to June or July, and if not even August. That's what we really need.
For now, though, many are hoping the sight of rains returning with such force is at least a strong beginning. In San Francisco, Spencer Christian, ABC 7 News.
Here in Texas, we're starting to have more consistent cool days.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot more rain lately, right, Sydney?
Yeah, guys, you know that rain last night was pretty rough, but we've actually been seeing extreme weather all over the U.S. Let's take take a look, parts of the Northeast and even here in Texas, there's been a lot of flooding. And even in California, there's been a lot of rain. Take a look at this eerie video. A viewer was driving in the rain through the Golden Gate Bridge when they heard this sound. Kind of gets you in the mood for the spooky season, but nothing too spooky about this. Simple explanation, the wind flowing through the gate created this sound. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our weather here in North Texas. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at our current conditions across North Texas. We can see that we are having temperatures in the high 60s and the low 70s. There's nothing too unusual. We just are expecting those high wind speeds throughout the days. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions across the state. Now our temperatures will be fairly similar. We can see that up in Amarillo, that will be our chilliest point, and down in Houston and Austin, that will be our warmest point at 74. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our 7-day forecast. Temperatures are expected to drop not only today, but the rest of the weekend. Our lowest temperature will be on Friday and Saturday at 40 degrees and 46, but the sun will be shining throughout the weekend. On Monday and Tuesday, we are expecting to see some rain with lots of clouds. Our weather has definitely been crazy, but hopefully we will see constant temperatures next week. That is it for our full weather forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. Moderna isn't the only vaccine administering more shots.
By the end of next week, the Pfizer vaccine will also be available for this time for millions of children from ages 5 to 11.
Pfizer says it's about 90% effective against symptomatic infection. Additionally, the FDA vaccine advisors have already said the benefits outweigh the risks. So if and when the FDA formally approves, Pfizer is ready to ship out.
The vaccine will be accessible once the CDC makes its recommendation, which could be as early as November 4th.
When we return, another member steps down from a royal family.
And Buc-ee's is in a lawsuit because of a knockoff company. Stay with us.
Okay, that's perfect. But I had a great time talking to you today. I have one more question. Is wrestling really real?
What?
When you park in front of the ramp, somebody can't make it up the ramp. When somebody can't make it up the ramp, they miss their class. When they miss their class, they fail their final. When they fail their final, they drop out of school. If you drop out of school, you get a face tattoo from a guy named Scorpion. Don't get a face tattoo from a guy named Scorpion. Be courteous. Don't block wheelchair ramps.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
The University of Texas Arlington has partnered with the City of Arlington to expand their campus. UTA announced the $1 million gift from Arlington Tomorrow Foundation will be used to build a 150,000 square foot building. The Connie building will host the College of Nursing and the Health and Wealth Innovation Smart Hospital. The project began earlier this year and is scheduled to complete in November of 2022.
Former Japanese Princess Mako bids farewell to her family as she is stripped of her royal title. This is due after negative rumors from her new marriage spread.
Kay was criticized arbitrarily, and the speculation that he does not care for me spread. Truly a unilateral speculation, and as if it was true and real. These false rumors spread quickly, which made me fearful, and I faced great pain and sadness from this.
Denton is known for being a center of artistic expression. Some pieces y'all probably seen, including the mural outside of Wortman's College store.
Let's go to Sydney to tell us more about the art around town and the painters behind the work in this edition of Positively North Texas.
What better way to spend your day than looking at all of the beautiful murals in Denton? From a wide range of styles to a wide range of subjects, art is filled throughout the city of Denton. Our reporter Andrea Valdez has more on the story. Check it out.
When taking a trip to Denton, visitors will notice the colorful and eye-catching murals meant to draw the attention of those who pass by.
Art is cool in and of itself, but I feel like what really makes art cool is how it affects people, because people are ultimately like the cool connection, and so I feel like when there's art that just affects people in such deep ways, that always has a really strong impact on my memory.
Dan Black is a local artist who has lived in Denton for 8 years and has been doing art professionally for 13 years, working on murals around the area.
Some of the more recent murals that we've done around Denton is at Vortman's, at Neon South, Foundations of Our History mural, and Square 9 Apartments.
Black explains that his pieces are often commissioned in collaboration with local businesses and community organizations with a certain vision in mind to tell a story, even incorporating community members into his pieces.
When you're painting someone who lives in that neighborhood, you know, their friends, their family are stopping by and talking to you about them, and so they're kind of like two different types of mural that are fun for different reasons.
With every wall telling a story, the murals have always been a part of the North Texas culture, which Black says will continue to grow, bringing more young artists to contribute their talent to the region.
You know, Denton brings a lot of young artists into this town to go to school, to learn, to like grow in their craft, and that's awesome. So I'd really encourage students to get their art outside of the campus environment and into the community. And kind of see how fun it is to like impact the town, you know, while you're living here.
Thanks, Sydney. Police stations in 2 cities have been having some trouble in an ongoing merger.
Our reporter Armando Gomez can tell us more.
Thanks, guys. Grant City and Lake Dallas have agreed to end the police department merger study. Grant City officials pulled the plug in the interlocal agreement with Lake Dallas to see if a true merger of their police departments would be feasible. Earlier this summer, both cities had approved the merger when both city councils passed agreements that set the timeline and expectations of the merger. This study was supposed to last from this September to the end of August next year. Within the agreement, there was a section that would allow either entity to end the study at any moment with a 60-day notice. Both cities would still provide aid to each other. That is all I have for today. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Armando. We all know and love Buc-ee's just a few minutes down the road from campus. It's spelled B-U-C-C-E-E-S. However, a copycat store has popped up in Sugar Land, Texas, and is spelled B-U-C-K-Y-S. Business owner Sareem Damani claims it's the name of his childhood friend. Regardless, the original Buc-ee's company is suing. The pretrial will take place on February 4th, possibly with a jury.
Well, it didn't take much to notice those subtle differences in those logos. There is a not-so-subtle change that's going on that y'all might not know about. UNT's Mean Green hockey team has been sweeping a few games this year and are bouncing back from having no season in 2020 due to the pandemic. I had the chance to speak with the players about the intensity of the sport and why y'all should go check them out. With practices past 9 p.m. twice a week and weekends packed with games, the Mean Green hockey team strives to find a balance between the sport and school.
They're not just stereotypical hockey player. They're here to, you know, get an education, and that's their first mindset, which is great. Hockey player is second for them, and their good nature comes first. So,
like any other sport, hockey has its risks when it comes to game time.
You have a weapon in your hand, a stick, so a lot of things can happen with that. A lot of cheap shots happen with that, so guys get angry. I mean, it's a fast game. There's other fast games too, like you know, like I said, rugby, football, and all this, but this is the only one where you're trapped in between boards. So you're going 20 miles an hour and you're going to hit a board, and it's going to make a noise. People are going to hurt themselves, and I think that's a different aspect.
While their home games for the season have ended, they will wrap up their final games outside of Texas.
We're streaming on YouTube as many games as we can. I don't think we'll get the guys out for the big road trip to Missouri and Arkansas, but everything else should be on YouTube. It's under UNT Hockey. You can also watch old games there that were previously streamed, and tickets also are free, just like the YouTube channel.
They currently have 5 wins and 4 losses and are looking to finish strong in their final games.
Wow, I might just have to watch them before the season's over.
Now, it was a great experience, but their last few games are out of state, so grab some friends, go to their YouTube channel, and have a watch party.
The American Airlines Center is happy to have basketball back in the building. Some crazy stuff has happened at the World Series, and UNT may run away with the trophy this weekend. All this and more after the break.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
The Mavericks return to the American Airlines Center for the first time this season in a 116-106 win against the Houston Rockets. Mavs fans encountered an unusual coaching tactic by new head coach Jason Kidd as the team played every single player on their roster. Typically, this is only done in a blowout, but after the game, Kidd said this is the plan made through their new 3-player leadership council consisting of Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, and Tim Hardaway Jr. The Mavs continue their intrastate play as they take on the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow night, yet again at the American Airlines Center. And last night was not a good night to be a Houston fan because not only did the Rockets lose, but the Astros lost Game 1 of the World Series to the Atlanta Braves, 6-2. However, the bigger story may just be about a Braves pitcher who only played 3 innings. Charlie Morton got hit with a 102-mile-per-hour fastball in the middle of the second, but seemingly brushed it off like it was nothing. He then threw a strikeout and 16 more pitches before exiting the game, where it was revealed he did all of this on a broken leg with fractures in his fibula. Morton has been ruled out for the rest of the season, but is expected to be ready for training camp. Game 2 of the World Series is tonight at 7 p.m., where the Astros hope to even things out. And the World Series is not the only championship going on, as the CUSA Cross Country Championship is this Saturday. The men's team currently ranks 3rd in the region and is hoping to win their first CUSA championship since 2018. Meanwhile, the women's team is hoping to take down Middle Tennessee, which is seeking their 3rd consecutive title. The championship starts Saturday morning at 9 a.m. in Frank Lisk Park in Concord, North Carolina. That's all I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, James. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Thanks for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight for our 6 p.m. newscast here at North Texas Television.